Yo guys, it's Citram here. A couple of you guys have already messaged me saying, Citram, I started playing because of the collab, but I do not have any idea of what to do. So I decided to do this video in order to help you guys to understand how Wuthering Waves works, what should you do as beginners, and basically tell you everything that's important that you know when starting. So let's get right into it. There is one really important thing that you need to learn about Wuthering Waves, and it's that most teams are built around 3 roles. You have the main DPS, which usually is about 60% of the team damage. Lucy would be an example. You have the side DPS, which usually gives huge buffs, but only to the main DPS. That's the case of Rebecca. And you have the healers/supports, which give a small buff for all of the team. Verena would be an example. This leads to the most important advice that I can give you guys in this video, and it is, in Wuthering Waves, you do not go for characters, you go for teams. The biggest mistake that I've seen a lot of people do, and that includes me when I started playing, is pulling for a DPS that apparently it's super strong, but not pulling for their specific support. And I have already dropped a couple of characters and I don't play them anymore because they feel so bad to play without their support. Okay, so here you have per each element, which are the main DPSs and their most common support. There's some overlapping, but this way you can have an idea of who you should be pairing each character with. Pause the video if you need to take a look at it. With that in mind, let's take a look at these couple of tier lists that I made for this video. Okay, so this first tier list ranks basically the best characters for when you're starting the game, which ones I think you should be going for. The first row are the best units in the game, which are also quite free to play, and they're gonna help you a lot in the beginning. The second row is the teams that are amazing, they're incredibly good, but they need a super specific team, as I mentioned, to be actually incredible. The third row are teams that are really good even while being free to play. And from the fourth on are teams that are not really that much worth it anymore. They used to be good teams, but I would not recommend them nowadays. So the sub DPS characters that are equivalent to the main DPS are shown in the column on the right. Now this second tier list is slightly different. Here you can see basically a list of all of the full teams that are really strong in this game. So on the left, I have basically put teams that are incredibly good, but with their full team. That is at least 3 5-stars, or if there's only 2 5-stars, the main DPS has its weapon. On the right, however, you have the best options when you're starting. That is, the best teams where you only have 1 5-star character. And by the way, this is not my full tier list. I will be actually uploading a video next week once Lucille is out, explaining in depth my updated tier list and why each character is anywhere. This that I'm showing right now is more focused on the newest players, so look forward for this video. Now let's talk about the rewards every new player gets. So first, the free 5-star character selector from the standard banner. Pick Verena. Seriously, just pick Verena. Don't even think about it. If you somehow already have Verena, then pick Verena again. The only exception to this would be Jiangxing as a temporary option for Yuki's teams, but for real, only consider this if you already have Verena. Verena is incredibly broken in basically every team of the game. Okay, next, the standard banner weapon selection. You would get one Quarrel in the game, I think, at level 10, and you will get another one at level 40, I believe it is. And my recommendation here is, there are some weapons that are much worse than the others. I will list them in here so you can avoid them as much as possible, but whichever one you select depends a lot on the roster of characters you have. I have to say something. So if you don't go for Lucy's weapon, the best option by far would be to get the yellow pistol of the standard banner, and you will get another selector at level 40, and in that one you should go definitely for the blue pistol, which would be for Rebecca. That weapon is amazing for her. If you're going for Lucy's weapon, which honestly I would recommend because it is a really big increase to the team damage, then go first for Rebecca's weapon for the blue pistol, and then choose another one that fits well with the characters that you have. As a general recommendation, the blue sword is, generally speaking, really freaking good. So if you have a sword user, that one is probably a good option to go for. Now about the choose any character event banner that you are getting, in which you can choose among 5 characters, unless you're specifically going for Shorekeeper, which is a strong character, skip it. This banner is actually a scam. The newer characters simply are much better than these old units that they are offering you here. What about pulling for weapons? Are weapons important in Wuthering Waves? Well, yes, they are pretty important, but only for main DPSs. A good signature weapon for a DPS can increase your team's damage by about 20%, which is quite a bit. For sub DPSs and for support units, signature weapons are usually not worth it, so I would go for the standard banner weapon for them. Pull for those only if you really like the character. Now let's get into the hot topic, and it is the gacha system. There is 4 types of pulls actually. The golden pulls for promotional characters, the red pulls which are only for collab characters, then you have the blue pulls which are only for standard banner characters and weapons, and then you have the weapon pulls which are for promotional weapons. Besides this, you have the astrites, so you can use 160 astrites to do a pull for any of the other 4 types of wishes. As a general recommendation, never spend your astrite on anything that is related to the standard banner. Only use it on promotional characters, promotional weapons, collab characters, or collab weapons. Forbidden for you. So character banners have a 50-50 system. That is, you're gonna pull, and when you are at maximum 70 pulls, you're gonna get a 5-star, and that 5-star can be the one that you're pulling for, or it can be a character from the standard banner. If you have lost this 50-50, the next time you get a golden item, you're sure for that to be the character that you are pulling for. This does not apply to the weapon banner, however. The weapon banner does not have a 50-50, so if you're getting a gold, it's gonna be the weapon that you have chosen for sure. That is what a lot of times it is recommended to go for the weapon instead of for dupes for the character. Also, the PT carries between banners of the same type. So if you do 20 pulls on the limited character banner, those 20 pulls are gonna count towards the next one. However, they're not gonna count for weapons, they're not gonna count for standard banner, they're not gonna count for the collab. And this is something important to mention. If you pull for the characters of the collab, make sure that you pull just enough for the character or the weapon that you want to. Because if, for example, you pull 30 times on that banner and you get nothing, those 30 pulls are lost. They're not gonna count towards next characters, they're not gonna count towards next weapons. So it would be as if you threw a lot of your resources into the trash. I really hope this helps you guys new players to understand a bit better matter how the game works and what you need to do at the beginning. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I'm going to be responding to everybody that I can, so you guys can have the best Wuthering Waves experience that the game offers. Because honestly, I know you came here for the collab. I know the collab is amazing, but you're gonna stay because of the quality of the game. It is amazing, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.